In order for us to grow, of course, we need to have more courses, more hosts, more everything, more volunteers. And anything an organization needs more of something, it generally starts talking about various forms of the word selling. Many people are uncomfortable when they hear that. Say, I can't sell. But this little talk on how do I get comfortable growing Smart Driver. Thank you for joining our podcast. We'll talk about the basics. We'll talk about some marketing material, and we'll talk about some outlets where one can go to sell, and then we'll have a little bit of a summary. It's long been said in every organization, nothing happens until someone sells something. If we don't have any courses, we don't have any students. If we don't have any students, we don't have any participants. No one pays the money to come. If we don't have any hosts, we don't have any courses to hold, places to hold courses. So there's always something standing in the way of our progress. We have the word called prospecting, which just means that's we're looking around and seeing where are there people who might want to come to our courses, where are there hosts who might want to let us join them, and we have a lot of information already. We have in our state, we have 2,000 or more hosts that we've been at. Now, some are gone, maybe some are renamed, some are taken over by competitors. But still, there's a lot that we could call. Um, and there's a thing called cold calls, and this is probably the scariest for people, where you just knock on the door and say, "Hello, I'm from AARP Driver Safety. Could I talk to you about doing a course here?" If it's a host, or hey, you go talk to a group of seniors, and while they're having lunch one day, and you talk about driver safety, hoping that some of them will come to a course. And then you also have to worry about saturation. There are some places where there's already been a lot of courses. There's already been a lot of people who've been to the courses. So it's good to always keep your eye out on new places to go. And then there's leads. Someone might give you a lead. Hey, they built a new firehouse over in the next town, and they have a nice conference room. Maybe you could use that to teach. Or, there's this insurance company that has offices in 4 or 5 towns right around us. They have conference rooms, and they might want to have their insurance customers come in and take the course. Things like that. So, what selling do we already do if you think that you don't sell? If you're an instructor, every day when you teach a course, you talk about ST Tech, and you sell that a little bit, and you talk about CarFit, and you sell that a little bit, and you talk about We Need to Talk, and you sell a little bit about that. We have a video that we're asked to play for volunteers, so you're asking there. That's an ask, that's a little selling. And you're always talking about your next class with your host, and perhaps can we have it, or where can we have it, kind of thing. So selling is not something that we don't do. We just may not realize that that's what we're doing. So what is there to help me do this if I want to do this? Well, there's marketing material, is what it's called. And certainly you probably haven't can't almost live without seeing marketing material, and that's billboards and TV ads and handouts and posters and everything. So in the box, when your class materials come, there's some generic things. There's also many words and PowerPoints available, or you could create them yourselves. So you probably did a flyer for your class. That's a little bit of marketing material. There's an app, and AARP has an app builder, ad builder app, which might be helpful. And also this new thing called AI. It's very easy to create a very professional looking flyer using AI, and you just have to pretty much put in a sentence of what you want, and boom, it comes up with all kinds of graphics and colors and nice fancy letters. And then, of course, because we're in New York State, we have to comply with the DMV regulations, so we have to keep that in mind as we're doing things. There are some, believe it or not. So let's talk about this app that AARP has. I'm not going to go deeply into it, but the way you get on there is the dstoolkit.aarp.org is the address for it. And it'll ask you to send an email off to AARP Marketing, and they check to make sure you're truly a volunteer. And then they give you a logon ID to get on that. And that has many, many ways to make flyers and business cards and postcards and any kinds of marketing material. High-end kind of stuff that you could even print out at your local printer or your own printer at your home, or send to a printer to have commercially printed. Then just make sure you get approval for spending any money if you're doing that kind of thing. But it is kind of neat, and it's all of the graphics that AARP uses all the time. You could also just get on there and copy off the graphic and paste it into a Word document and make your own little flyer using the graphics as well. That's an easy way to do it. But there'll be other videos on how to use that toolkit, so don't get too hung up on that right now. As far as good old New York State and the DMV Part 138, Section 13 talks about this, and those are all those bullets are things that the state thought that they wanted to tell you that everything has to be what can and can't be in your advertisement. Things like that important reduction, you must indicate that it's 6 hours of training. You can't make any misleading claims like you'll save thousands of dollars in anything. Should be clear and concise. No endorsement by DMV. No advertisements in registration or licensing offices. You must use approved name AARP. You have a 3-year retention of whatever advertisement you use. No comedy or gifts, no competitive claims. We're better than everybody else. Can't say that. And the benefits go to the principal operator of the car, and there's no dollar, you shouldn't reference a dollar reference or dollar benefits for early repeat, those kinds of things. You can say that the insurance is a 10% deduction to 3 years for liability, no fault and collision, and those kinds of things. But you can't go crazy, so be very careful. And if you just talk high level, that's usually not a problem. So what are outlets? How can we get our word out? Well, the lost cat method, there's the first one where you make a little flyer and you post it various places. You post it in restaurants and post offices and things like that. There are the headquarters postcards that go out if you're a good planner and you get your class scheduled 90 days in advance. You can get the postcards, and those postcards could double or more your attendance at a class. And if you're an SD Core user, you're guaranteed a postcard. If not, you kind of get into a tournament of everybody who was good planners. But I think that's pretty well covered. But if you have a long-term host, you really ought to be thinking about scheduling all your classes as early as possible each year, even the year before, so that you can get those postcards guaranteed. The hosts certainly are generally willing to give some flyers out, and they may have a mailing list that if you sent them a piece of information like a PDF file, they will send it out to their members and things like that. Traditional media often wants to help not-for-profits. There's a lot of town publications and marketing publications and garage sale publications that might do it. You might also issue a press release. You'd be surprised if you send a press release to the local paper, they may just print it. They might even do an interview on you. And then good old social media. Social media is everywhere. So if you're willing to learn a little bit more about that, you'd be surprised how much coverage you could get. What is social media? There's Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. Most likely ones are the most likely for our age group, but others that are coming along strongly are X and LinkedIn and TikTok, and less likely future ones. Um, they're less likely for the future, but or use in the future. And then there's email, available lists that you may have, or your hosts may have to use, or go to the local senior center and give them a piece of marketing material. They may send it out for you. So what's some good ideas on social media? Share on your host pages and groups. Look for towns or senior groups and just post it on there. Add it to there. Join their group and add it. And if it looks like it's a private group, send an email to the person who's the admin and see if it's okay. Research local presence, things like seniors, aging groups, garage sales, car clubs, insurance agencies, government, etc. Anybody where there's a group together, and recommend sharing. That if you'll help other people identify spots, other organizations, if they'll help you. Thank you for joining our podcast today. We hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, please text us at 518-952-2216. We'll respond to you. Please subscribe to the podcast so you get updates when we add new information.